Oh, but the other land yet? I can buy land over yet? The land cheaper? The other land yet? The land expensive yet? What's going on, families? Welcome back to the channel Liberian Connection. In my last video, I mentioned a new community that we're going to be starting around the airport. So in this video right here, I want to share more details. So if you're somebody who's looking to build their house in Liberia within the next couple of years, or looking to get around some like-minded Liberians in the same community, then this video might just be for you. Or if you don't fit those criteria, you might know somebody who does fit those criteria. So maybe you could share this video with them also. And in doing so, you will also be playing your role in Liberia's development. So it felt like just yesterday, Emma and myself were on YouTube telling others about a new community that we're looking to start, and we're looking for people to buy land in that area. Fast forward to a little over a year, and look how far this community has come. We built a road, we're on our water system, we cleared the land, we marked off all the street and alleys, and we have a beautiful thing going over here. Almost every single day I get messages either on my YouTube or my Facebook of people admiring the project that we're involved in. And at the time, even though a lot of people wanted to join this community, it took a few months for all these lands to really sell out. But now that we have a road and we're moving along on this roadmap, a lot of people are suddenly interested in the project. It's funny how life works, right? A lot of times it doesn't look that appealing at the very beginning, but as things progress, then you see that you want to jump in because everything's looking good. But at that time, the opportunity's already come and gone. So if you're somebody who's been watching along our Brewerville project and been following and wishing that you can get into that community, even though now it's a little too late, well, this might be perfect time for you to join our new community. It's the same concept. The only thing that's changed is the location and new members. So let's jump into some details about this new community. So before we talk about price and all that, let's talk about the benefits of being a part of a community like this. First thing is knowing your neighbors. You're going to be living around like-minded Liberians who are trying to develop the country and who are putting action on the ground, not just talking about it. So if you want to be involved in a community of like-minded Liberians, then what better way than to live next to them, to make them your neighbor. Another benefit of this community idea is regulation. Now, right off the bat, regulation sounds like a negative word, right? Who want to come back to Liberia and be regulated? I mean, we already have enough regulation in America. Why we want to come back home and be regulated? Well, regulation is a double-edged sword. Could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. So a lot of us are looking at it as a bad thing, but let me show you some positives about regulation. Let's say you buy a nice land, 1 acre in a random community, and you have a real nice floor plan going on, and you're gonna build your retirement home over there. You get started on the project, everything looking good. Now you got 2 people bought lands, one to the left, one to the right of you. One person come and make a farm, the person to the right come and make a mechanic shop. Well, now all of a sudden, that beautiful mansion that you're building is not as appealing anymore. Your property is only as good as the houses next to you, as your neighbors, as the environment, as your community and your neighborhood. Same thing applies in America. We call it comps. If your house is good, but your neighbor's house is not so good, it brings your property value down. And the same thing applies no matter where you live, including Liberia. If you have a beautiful mansion, but your area does not look that good, or you have the best house in the area, then your house value is not what you think it is. So since you can't regulate what your neighbor is going to do in Liberia, then anybody could literally do anything in any neighborhood at any time they wanted to. So this is not necessarily a good thing. In this area right here, there's only certain standards of homes that can be built. So we're talking no zinc roof, no commercial activity, no farming, nothing like that. Just residential houses that's going to be modern. So all our property values is going to increase together as we all start developing the area. The third benefit of this community idea is teamwork. Now, look what we did over here at Brewerville. If you haven't seen any of those videos, I'm going to link them down in the description. Look at this road we're able to build. Look at this water tower we're building right here. Can you imagine having to fix this road by yourself if your house was in an area like this where you couldn't get to your home comfortably and none of your neighbors want to contribute and you couldn't take it anymore, or you couldn't get to that mansion, so you had to build the road by yourself, that's not something any of us want to go through. So that's why we're coming and putting our heads together. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's a saying that I love repeating because it sounds so good and so catchy, but it's also true. Being a part of this Brewerville community has taught me a lot of things. The most important is that when we come together as a team, there's almost nothing we can't accomplish. So coming together to clear the land, to mark the roads, the alleys, to be in agreement on different projects like fencing, security, and putting all our heads and our resources together, it just makes it a lot more feasible, as opposed to one or two people trying to do that and everybody else benefiting from it. Coming together and doing these major projects, that's what even makes it possible. A lot of us don't have the funds and the resources to take major projects like this on our own, nor will we feel good about it if other people are benefiting from the road that we built or the water tower we put near the water source. If other people are not contributing, the way we're doing it in these communities is everybody is going to pay the same amount, because we're all going to be benefiting the same. Now let's talk about some projects that we're going to be engaging in as a community. First project is the road. Now, looking at this Brewerville community, this road right here that we're able to put our heads together and build is amazing. Even though this area is not an ocean land, you can get to the land without building the road. It's just not the most comfortable entry, and it doesn't encourage others to build in the area. Once we built this road in this Brewerville area, or we started the road, a lot of the developments start popping up in the area. Road attracts people to come, so that's what we want to do. We want to attract people to come in this area, start developing. It just makes our whole community look better. It makes the area look better, and we're actually forcing the appreciation on our properties by other people building around us. So a road is a must. Not to mention the kind of message it sends to the countries, the kind of message it sends to fellow Liberians in the diaspora and on the ground, that Liberians can come together and engage in major projects without arguing amongst ourselves, without fighting, without worrying who belongs to which party or who's supporting which president. None of that. We put all those differences to the side and come together and engage in projects that's going to benefit the country. And roads is something this country desperately needs. So every single road we build is a victory, is a major accomplishment in this country. So every community that we're going to be starting, we're going to be building roads. Second major project is the water project, and this is where we're currently at Brewerville right now. So why is the water project even necessary? If you're familiar with Liberia, you go back home, you see everybody has a water tower, or I should say most people have water towers. Now on top of that water tower is going to be a water tank. Now water can either get to it by a pump or by somebody coming and manually filling up with water. And that's where the water comes into the house, through the faucet, the showers, whatever. That's the water supply. It's very different from what we have over here in America, because our water systems at our homes, we don't see where the water comes from. So over here, we're trying to do the same thing in these communities. We're trying to have one area dedicated for a water system. So we're going to have a lot of water tanks over there, a few water towers, and pumps that will supply water to the entire community. Now, this is beneficial because we don't need every single home having a water tower, having a well. So the same money you're going to take to build your water tower in your compound, we're going to contribute. We're going to put that money together. We're going to buy 1 or 2 lots. Like in Brewerville, we bought 2 lots. There's 2 lots will be dedicated to the water system. And we can even have power source in the same 2 lots because the land is big enough. Another benefit of this, it doesn't block your view. You can look around freely in your area. You don't need your view blocked by a water tank. You don't need to take up room in your compound with having a water tank. So it's better to have this water out of sight, out of mind, just like what we're used to in America or UK or Australia. So we're trying to implement modern amenities into Liberia, hoping to encourage other Liberians to start doing these same things. And the last major project we're going to be engaged in as a community is the fencing of this community. So it further protects our land, not from squatters, but from unwanted guests. Because if we can fence the community, then we can have our security, we can have our checkpoints, and we can make sure that every person that's entering this community is somebody that we actually want over there. So by doing so, That means every single home doesn't need these big, huge, tall walls that makes it look like we're in a prison. If you do want to have a wall, we can have something a lot smaller with fencing on the second half of it, something that looks good, something that you can, be in your compound and look outside, see what your neighbors are doing. We don't need these huge, massive walls to make us feel like we're in a prison. So that's another message we're trying to send to people who are trying to develop in Liberia, is that just because everybody else is doing something a certain way doesn't mean we need to keep going on that way. This is 2023. We need to start implementing some modern design, some modern buildings. So now let's talk about price. What exactly is it going to cost to be a part of this? Well, the lots are selling for $1,600. This $1,600 does not include the $100 per lot survey fee or the $200 probate fee, and also it includes the cornerstones that's going to be placed on your land with your initials on it. So if you were to purchase one lot of land, you're looking at about $1,900. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, but the other land yet? I can buy land over yet? The land cheaper? The other land yet? The land expensive yet? Well, you ever heard the saying, you get what you pay for? So yeah, you can go buy the other land somewhere else for $800, $900. Purchasing the land is your lowest expense in this whole development process, because you're buying the land for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. But the house you're gonna place on that land, if it's anything decent, or like what Liberians call a mansion, then you're probably looking at $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, at least for the houses I'm looking to build in Liberia. The $2,000, $3,000, that's very, very minor in comparison to the grand scheme of things. Can you buy a land somewhere else for $800, $900? Sure, but are you going to run into these problems that I mentioned earlier in this video? Not knowing your neighbors, not knowing what people are going to be building around your nice house, not having a road to access your land. Is it worth it for you? Can you see yourself being a part of this community? Can you see yourself working with other Liberians? Do you want to be neighbors with other like-minded Liberians? If you do decide to be a part of this community, I'm going to leave my contact info right here down here in the description somewhere. Shoot me an email and we can make it happen to see if you're the right fit for this community. We would love to have you on. So if you stayed through this whole video and you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe, and also hit that like button for the algorithm. Share this video with fellow Liberians, and I look forward to catching you guys in the next video. Everybody be safe.